I made a poll on my channel yesterday. This was before the announcement of the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, and it was tongue-in-cheek. Some of my viewers and subscribers took offence, and that's fine. And to be honest with you, I expected the Queen to pull through, I really did. After all, she'd been going on for donkey's years. Why not a few more donkey's years in the future? People live long enough now, and she had the best medical expertise looking after her. But alas, she passed away, and so I made a video which I think I gave valid concerns about why I think there should be now a republic here in Britain, and neither Charles nor the rest of them are worthy to be ruling monarchs because of politics. I didn't mock the death of the Queen, nor did I take the piss out of the situation. And so to summarise, I explained that the modern monarchy under Elizabeth had done its job and done its job well under her. But we should now move on to something a bit more modern because her heirs and successors, they're simply not up to the job. None of them could hold a candle up to what she achieved and how she achieved it. Anyway, so that was my point. But in hindsight, I could have worded my poll a bit better. That's my one regret. I would have never disrespected the Queen because she was at one point the Commander-in-Chief of my regiment, the Royal Welsh Fusiliers. And I did indeed have the honour of meeting her at one point, but that's another video for another time if I ever make it. And so I popped onto Twitter to see what people were saying because this is a historical event and all the notable people these days, they go on there to pour out their feelings and whatnot. So it's the place to go, unfortunately. And what I saw even turned my stomach because the level of hatred directed towards the Queen, the royal family, the English, the British, was just vile. And these are just 3 choice tweets I've picked, which were acceptable for YouTube anyway, or for my channel. That it's just these 3 are the tip of the iceberg. All right, there are people on there, literally. I mean, the woman hasn't even been buried yet. They are pissing on her grave. They are glad that she died. And the woman here, Yuju Anya, a Twitter blue tick, and she is I believe she's a professor in a university somewhere in the United States. And for her to, an intellectual, a so-called intellectual to tweet that is horrendous. The last line she says is, "May her pain be excruciating." That says more about Yuju Anya than it does about Queen Elizabeth. And then we have Trevor Sinclair's tweet, also a verified Twitter blue tick. What do you say? I thought this guy was patriotic. A former West Ham footballer, not sure if he played for England, but still talented footballer. And for him to tweet this, saying black and brown people should not mourn the death of the Queen, it's disgraceful. It's below him. And, he's now deleted this tweet and his Twitter account. And the third Twitter account belonging to some obscure person wouldn't put their face to it, obviously. I wouldn't either if I tweeted something like this. It just shows the level of visceral hatred by these uneducated people. Sure, these people may have degrees and honours, etc., but, in life, they're not really educated. They don't educate themselves. And all this hatred, surprise, surprise, is coming from the left. And they are a hateful bunch. This is the lot who preach tolerance and kinder, gentler politics, but they can't practice it. And these hateful tweets, they come mainly from Scottish nationalists, members of the SNP up in Scotland, Welsh nationalists, the Irish for some reason, even though she has never been their queen, their monarch, or they've never been part of the United Kingdom while she was on the throne, nothing to do with them, yet they're all glad for some reason. And they're all bringing up the British Empire and hatred of the English, anti-white hatred as well. On Twitter, anti-white racism, it's allowed, isn't it? So at the end of the day, an old woman died. An old woman who gave service to this country for 70 years, devoted her life for 70 years. and during all that time hardly caused any controversy whatsoever, hardly ever put a foot wrong. And it's a shame we can't say that about her kids and grandkids, but you can't pick your family, can you? I mean, this is the level of selfless duty this woman gave this nation on Tuesday, all right? And she looked a state when she was photographed shaking the hand and appointing the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. That was on Tuesday. That was 2 days before she died. Up until her dying breath, she gave her service to this country, which is more than can be said for the people who are directing the most vile hatred towards her on social media right now. And yet it's us, the right wing, the Conservatives, who are always painted as the evil, far-right extremists, Nazis, fascists, etc. But to this day, I've yet to see anyone on the right making a video of themselves calling for Conservative, right-wing women, wives and daughters to be blown up and murdered. But there we go. Now, can you imagine this lot getting their knickers in a twist? Had any one of us said anything untowards at the death of Nelson Mandela, we'd never, ever live it down, would we? And the left would certainly not allow us to forget. And also, thinking about it now, if having a British monarch pisses off these people, makes the right people angry, upsets them, and the death of an elderly queen excites them, makes them happy, makes them dance around in joy and say the most horrendous things. And even though I think that Charles is still the wrong person to succeed Her late Majesty, then all I can say is this: God save the King.